Can you reach 1400 LP Challenger with a low elo jungler? In this video, we have Master Yi being played by the Scenarios himself on F-King Scenarios for monetization purposes, and he's going to be showing us his top tips for us to be able to use Yi in order to get to Challenger and of course whatever rank you desire, even with a champion designed for lower elo. When you fuse this 9,000 gold by 14-minute tip with the secret recipe of Scenarios' playstyle, you will find out that you can climb pretty damn high with Master Yi. Don't forget, you can find him on Twitch and on YouTube, and I will link those descriptions below and pin them in the comment. And now it's time to master Master Yi. And obviously, I will put his builds and more in a Master Yi Zara GG Live Companion Jungle Guide that'll all come live next week for you. Don't forget that we have now enabled subscriptions, so if you want to use the Live Companion Jungle Guide to get yourself to your rank goals by the end of the season, you can do so with your chosen champion. 14 now, rest coming next week, available from the links below. So here we're going to start off with his early strategies. Obviously, this particular phase, he is going to leave a ward here nice and early, as you can see. Protect the entrances with his team, go back to base, get a scanner, because he doesn't like to be passive. We want to make sure we get that first clear going. And obviously, you would have seen the runes on your screen now. That is the standard Yi way to play at the moment. We want to make sure we're amplifying the attack speed fantasy to get that alpha cooldown as much as possible. The nerfs to the E cooldown did hit us a little bit, but it doesn't really matter as long as you can get that up for crucial team fights. And obviously, his first clear is one of the best, okay, for Master Yi. Looking at least a 320, so we can get into that crab zone. And you want to track the enemy jungler just as well as you would on any sort of champion, because obviously enemy junglers are going to try and prevent you from snowballing. They're going to try and push you out of your jungle, not let you get crabs, not let you snowball. But Scenarios doesn't care for these things, because as you'll see in the next game, we'll talk about it, what happens when you can't really get going. But here in this game, this is about using the enemy's positioning against them. We aren't able to stick to them with the alpha, but we'll flash the wall and stick to them now. We'll get another alpha through onto the Morgana. We keep attacking. Remember, the attacking reduces the cooldown of alpha, and that W is going to be so crucial as we move forward. So this is basically a dream start, okay? We're full clearing, and we're going to look to double scuttle. We just run across mid lane here, secure the scuttle crab, knowing that Lee Sin is going to want to come to the top side here and try and snack that away, and he's just completely out of position. And the double scuttle, full clear, kill first rotation Master Yi, this is the ideal strategy. And that's the thing, a lot of you are playing Master Yi, Lee Sin should show up here. Can he get something? No, he cannot, unless he tried to sneak an assist. So this is the dream goal for Scenarios, for any sort of jungler that's playing Master Yi. And obviously this isn't always going to go your way, that's why I have 2 games in this video. But it still allows us to reach the fantasy that I'm talking about, that 14 minutes, 9k gold imperative. That's what he wants to get to. Treasure Hunter does give us 550. It does enable us to get Noon Quiver and Kraken Slayer first. And for the builds, let's talk about that while we go on the second Krog rotation here. We're looking for Kraken Slayer first. Noon Quiver, Kraken Slayer, Blood of the Rune King. Then you can flex into your Rage Blade. Those are your 3 item cores, as you'll see on screen now. And from here, don't default into a full second sequence, all right? This is what most Master Yi players will do. Look to get into the lanes. Look to get ganking. That's the thing. You have so much obscene damage and mobility, and you're going to see this a lot as well here. Look at this. We'll go for these dives. We'll go for these kills. He'll get involved into this, because at first, half a second of your W channel is 90% damage reduction before defaulting to 45-second base. Now that does scale as you level the ability, but because we're leveling E second, it's not really of much concern to us until we get to the later stages of the game in those team fights. But for now, the 90% reduction in damage for the first half a second is beautiful. This is the Master Yi play. So instead of blindly sort of going for your second full clear and maybe looking bot lane, looking for the dragon, he will follow the tempo of the map, and if that involves tower diving, he will do it. If it then involves being a bit of a carnivore jungler and getting into their face, he will do that as well. Much like the rank 1 Bel'Veth that we looked at, really looking to play more predatorial playstyle and snowball actively, not snowball passively. That's the crucial thing about this. And to that end here, we have a low HP Kayle, lower HP Kayle, level 5, 530 wave, which means she should be getting 6 very soon. Can we capitalize on this before she's able to do so? We have the Master Yi show up here. We're able to get into this fight very, very quickly. We cancel an order there, which is okay. We channel a little bit, 90% damage reduction. We get 6 from the proximity to the experience of the minion dying. We can then move away, and you could choose to go back in, but your E isn't up, which means you've got the alpha. You can channel an animation cancel that W, but we do fall. This is something that will happen. In the second game, you will see we do end up dying a little bit, a couple times. In fact, the snowball isn't as visceral, the snowball isn't as dominating, let's just say. So I've mentioned this in many, many videos, but I decided to reach out to Scenarios for comment on how he perceives this particular method of playing. And obviously, he recommends a selfish playstyle. I do not gank to get my laners ahead, I gank to get myself ahead, so I can put an insane amount of pressure on the map so that me and my laners can easily win the game. My playstyle is also very consistent, which I believe is the way to success. I only take plays where I know they will work out at about an 80% chance. If it is lower than that, then I mostly avoid the play, and we'll see an example of that later in the video in this game. And what does he do when he does avoid those plays? If there is, however, a 60% chance the play works, it is not a flip because it is in his favor, but that instantly means that out of 10 games, there will be 4 where you die or lose the play, and that is, of course, very inconsistent. From here, though, good outing, basically. We took our Krugs and did a whole bunch of killings. Now we're at 3,800 gold. So we're going to do our red, we're going to do our Raptors. This provides us an opportunity. Do we invade and take his top setting at top lane, then fall back to the Herald? Do we go for a gank on the mid lane here and burn the Kael's ultimate? Do we simply go back up to the Krugs and then maybe rotate for a Fiora gank and fall on down? Or do we take this Scuttle first and then kind of flex those options when we're done? There's a lot of decisions that he can make here, but the one that most low elo junglers would probably make here, hey, I need to drag in, I need to fall back to my blue side. It's too passive. I'm going to scan here to make sure we are not seen as we go for this because we don't have smite, we don't have CC, but we have a hell of a lot of damage. And of course, we're going to take that outside in rule here. The benefit to hitting the plant here, though, is that you will get vision if the Lee Sin's here, or if he's gone for the dragon, or if he's vertical jungling you, or if he's sequencing up or down. You just want a little bit of information. So I do like hitting this. Even if they see us, it doesn't really matter because where's she going to go? She's going to go nowhere. But I think in this case, obviously the Morgana's rotating up here. We're just going to go straight up for this gank because all of that considered, the lane's in a beautiful position to gank. Aatrox is really easy to get fed. Lee Sin should show up here as well, but do we care at this stage? No, because we have a pickaxe plus nuke river. We reposition, obviously. We don't have that ultimate up. We can use the movement speed from the Scuttle Crab. Again, super valuable. Lee Sin hits the Q. He's going to try and take it now, but we have our 90% damage reduction. We do get kicked. We have the red buff churning. We get the Lulu ult. We just keep running. His mobility is so strong, man. His mobility is so strong because this is an 85-second cooldown, so it's not, too difficult to manage when you're playing around that, but it's up relatively frequently for how strong it can be. But you can see here, caught in a bad position, Yi is the master, pun not intended, of turning those things. Here as well, we proximity, looking at our experience, we get 6, we run away. Challenger level micro mechanics, not even thinking about it. This is just subconscious for him, okay? And that's what makes it so strong. So we see the call out of the Lee taking this. He shows up on the vision with a bit of lazy pathing. That's a bit silly from his perspective, which means free dragon. So he also thrives in those situations with equal and opposite gameplay, okay? They take a herald, I'll take a dragon. They take a dragon, I'll take a herald. If I can get both, I'll get both. But my goal is simply to keep stacking up advantages, even in those games that may or may not have a lot of kills. Now, we do have a bit of time. Kael's back in the mid lane here. At least it should be resetting, possibly heading to the bottom side here. We have low HP Caitlyn and Morgana. We're going to activate our ult here, press our E, going for the alpha. We're going to have the W for a damage reduction. That's a dead Morgana. Here we go, alpha to dodge aggro and reposition. Space glide out. And we can look at that play again with some animation because Scenarios told me that the best combo by far now is engaging with flash and not with Q. You want to make sure you save that Q, obviously, as we'll look at later in the video. But you want to flash in, auto attack, then E, you W and AA to animation cancel it. Then, of course, we can alpha strike and then auto attack to get that reset up as soon as possible again. The most important thing is to put the E after the auto attack because you should use that during the auto attack animation so you can maximize the 5-second uptime of the true damage. If you use it way before you auto attack or before you even gap close, you're wasting that crucial DPS. Exquisite use of mechanics. We talk about Yi being a simple champion. Yes, he's a simple champion. But there's a lot of cool animation canceling and order of events that you need, especially with the skill expression in your alpha now, that you can use to outplay people if you understand what enemy champions do. And one tricks and mains know their champion better than anyone, but they also know your champions better than you because they know what your champions do to their champion. You follow? Now, Kraken Slayer and Berserker's Greaves are completed. We can go into the Blade of the Rune King next and then into the Rage Blade. Here's the crucial thing, right? Our gold tracker. 6,000 gold by 10 minutes. What was our goal? 9,000 by 14 minutes. Can we achieve that and how? Unfortunately, we didn't get the Herald, so we don't get that assistance this game. Lee goes in here, but it's not going to be able to really do anything. Again, we can animation cancel the W for the damage reduction. We don't want to sit there channeling for too long. Whole team rotates here. Now we're low. So the in and out gameplay is crucial. Now they're low because Misfortune for some reason was let through. Lee Sin Qs, not a level 6 Amumu. How close is he? We'll see. He does get this done there. He's actually just going to die, but we're going to play off of that. Alpha reset, animation cancel the W again. The Zhonya's hurts you, my friend. Triumph goes through. Lethal Tempo's fully stacked. And of course, Ultimate was available once again. Here it is. You're looking for that fight that gives you 5 plates. Now, whether you use that on Heralds or not, doesn't matter. Look at this. He's absolutely rinsing this tower. Boom, boom, boom. Relenting. Unrelenting. Not relenting. No relenting. Only unrelenting attacks on the tower. We're using our Q to dodge aggro as much as we can. We keep going. We're animation canceling that W all the time. Quick channel, 90% damage reduction. And obviously, If you need to keep channeling, you can, but really that's such a crucial aspect of that spell now, because that original spell at 28-second cooldown, you know, you couldn't give it this power at a 9-second cooldown, for example. And they have nerfed the E. There are more nerfs coming through from Master Yi, but, you know, Cenarius is going to keep going. And there's nothing that's going to stop him from playing this champion. But with 7,700 gold by 11 minutes, that's good, all right? It's not quite where we need to be. That's more than enough. All we can do here is farm a little bit. And remember, if you have a Herald play, you can use the Herald here, for example, move on down and then do that auto-attacking on another lane. But we haven't really sequenced. There hasn't been a single facet of this game style where he's just AFK sequenced. The only time we do that is the first rotation, because we're looking for at least double scuttle, or at least one scuttle and a gank maybe, if we're playing equal and opposite. But at this stage, with 7-1-2, we're absolutely giga-juiced. You need to keep that tempo up as the map relaxes, as the pieces move around, as people get more play not to lose or safer. That's when you can absolutely sequence and just hold waves here. This is exactly what we're looking to do. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Because we're level 10. The fact that Lee Sin is only a little bit down is insane. And this is the kind of fight that you could easily look for. Okay, but if it's looking doomed, and you basically saying, look, I don't really want that fight, it's dumb, I can just split push here. Because there's a lot of experience and gold that you can get from a split push pressure. Now don't overcommit here. You see, we push it, we have enough for our completion, so we don't overstay here and get caught out. We go back to base, we get our blade, and now we can look to fist. We're at 8,590. And the next dragon is spawning, so we want to make sure we control that as well. The next giga fight we want to do is the one that we have at 11, because that cooldown now will get benefits from that cooldown, right? Sorry. The next fight we want to have is the one at level 11. So this goes up, the attack speed goes up from 25 to 45, the movement speed goes up from 35 to 55, but essentially we don't really want to have to be... the Gale... Well, it flashed it. You know, and ideally we don't use our ult prior to the upgrade, but that's because we get cooldown benefit. Master Yi does not get that cooldown benefit. The cooldown stays flat, which means we can use it at level 10. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, we lose some of the bonus stats, but the key is usually getting that cooldown reduction. The idea though is fine. You know, go to the split pushing lane, force them out, fall back to your blue, get the RNG scuttle. We're at 126 CS. We give the blue to the Lulu. I think that's nice. That's nice. You know, there's no reason for us to be 100% selfish. 99% selfish? Yes, not 100% selfish. Our top laner Dai is getting absolutely fisted by Lee Sin and Fiora. Do we care? No. This champion, and the way he plays it is just, I'm doing my own thing, I'm Master Yi, I'm relaxed, I'm engaging, and hopefully you can see the big difference here. Now we're at 9,000 gold, 14 minutes, 14 and a half minutes. Perfect. This is exactly what we're looking to get, right? You know, maybe it's not quite 9,000 some games, it's more 8,000, 8,500, but the goal is Kraken plus Blade, right? Kraken plus Blade plus Berserkers at this break-even point. And now you have 2 items. Wraith Blade is the 3rd item. No one can touch you at this stage. You can absolutely dominate fights, and you're seeing some clips of him dominating fights. This game was over. We took a second Herald, we pushed, we dominated some free fights, and that was it. That's the end of the game for him. So, a huge example of a Snowball runaway game from a good, perfect start. But what happens if that perfect start isn't so perfect? And how do we make sure we still hit this 9,000 gold at 14-minute strategy? Okay, in this one, we're using the exact same rune set, and the goal is still to do the exact same full clear red side into blue side, look for a scuttle. We are, in fact, against a Viego this game, so we do have CC and Snowball against us as well. We will have to pay attention to that because Gragas could go 150 hazed, you know, barrel, slam, body slam every 3 seconds. Master Yi shows up here. If we can get first blood, we can get first blood. But remember, the gold graph, that's the context here. Even if we die, this could cost us. We flashed, we do get a kill here, we get hooked into the tower, and we're dead. This will compromise the speed of our clear and how the Viego plays against us and around us. And here he's going to do what I've told many of you to do. If you see something that can be done on the map when your clear is a little slower or you're out of position, look to abuse that. However, the Viego here has tracked this, understood this, and said no. And this is the downside. This is what can happen. The Viego started leashless Raptors. We had no idea. He went down to his red side. He knew Yi would be coming down, so he went to the invade. Yi decided, hey, I'm going to gank bottom lane. It's a Draven lane. Let's squash that right now. Problem is, Viego shows up. He read it, he cut it, he invaded it. Bad things are going to be happening for us. Now, bot lane does rotate here. Viego is able to get the blue. This doesn't matter to us, right? This happens. The point about being a snowballing champion that can come back into the game as long as you get your items is we're relaxed. You know, you're literally just Amsterdamming in the jungle. That's it. We're going to lose this bottom scuttle. Now, we know that the Viego is going to look to cut through mid lane here and try and double scuttle us. We know that there's no camps on the red side. So what can you do as Master Yi? Don't sulk. Don't get angry. Look to make a play. Let him go farm. Let him do that. I'm still Master Yi. I'm strong now. Remember, we go 2 points into the Q. We don't even touch the W in the full clear because the goal isn't to use that meditate. We don't need that meditate in the jungle, but the Q enables us to clear a lot faster, okay? Now, the Viego would have gone through here. If he wanted to be a little bit of an asshole, he could look to do this as well. But his top laner needs to reset. His mid lane is going to want to reset. So, you know, in this case, the Viego is going to fall back to his camps, and the Master Yi can get tier 2 Krugs and go for tier 2 Raptors. Mitigating the losses you get as Master Yi in high elo is imperative. Now, when you're in low elo, it's just as important, remember, because even though he has historically been a low elo champion, and you know what, to some degree he still is, he certainly is very strong at the moment and playable in high elo, but he will still do what the Viego did. They still invade you. They still stop you from scaling, and now there's no duo, so there's no funnel. And it does seem weird that I'm making a video, as I said earlier, with the person who invented funnel, but you know what? I have my personal hatred of certain champions and certain playstyles, but I also have respect to people who achieve things in this game that others don't. And if it was so easy to get 1400 OP top 10 EU West with Master Yi, everybody would do it because it's a lot easier to run than a Karthus, I can tell you that much. But as you can see, there's a lot of skill expression now within the Champions kit, and I think that's nice. Honestly, you know, memes aside, I think that's good. I haven't been held hostage. He's not paying me. I'm just promoting his excellent playstyle, and I'm also promoting his Twitch. So off we go here to the bot lane after full sequence down. When you're behind, get that sequence, look to capitalize on a gank here. Master Yi needs to be a master and a maestro. That was Pike Gaming, obviously. You need to be very smooth about where you look at the lane states, okay? F key around the whole time, look for low targets, because the easiest ganks are the ones where you can clean up, gives you free kills. Now we saw the Viego here move on down through the river. The Pike tried to bait it, and we're gonna just try and go in with a speed up on the Zillion. Enchanter meta is always good. We could be trapped here, we will have to be careful. We did see the Master Yi, we did see the Viego move over from mid lane, so this is a good collapse. He is able to steal that, but now he's in a bit of a precarious situation. Remember, we talked about this in the invading video, flash out. The invading video will be linked below. I talked about this. When you make these aggressive plays, what will happen? They will always overcommit. As long as you are there to capitalize on the overcommitted mistake, you can get back into the game. And this was, I made a whole video on how to withstand this Viego's onslaught, or like a Belveth's onslaught against a Karthus. How close are we to our gold target? 3,000 gold within 6 minutes. We're got about, and we're nowhere near halfway to the gold we need, all right? We're about a third of the way there. So we really need to step it up and find a way to get ourselves in position to capitalize on a few kills, make sure our clears are good, get a few objectives, and look for that juicy opportunistic fight, which means at this stage, being a little bit more conservative than we were in the last game. So at this point, we use a little bit of Canyon's quadrant clearing. We'll do our Krugs into our Raptors that resets, and instead of full sequencing blindly, look to cut. Can we? Once more, just like in the last video, look to gank top lane, look to gank mid lane, look for an invade here. Yes, we might lose a dragon, but that means we get Herald, and remember what I said. Herald gives you those plates, that gold cash money infusion, and of course, the ability to say, hey guys, don't worry about the dragon, I got the Herald, and your bot lane should be happy. They never are, but you know, at least it's something. In this case, there's no RNG scuttle to go for first, so we can just scan full 10 seconds abuse and see if we can do something about the Gragi Ice. We do have our ultimate available. We're gonna press it, all right? We're gonna flash there with our E. We're gonna save our alpha so we can use it to dodge aggro as well. We're gonna animation cancel the W as we need. Viego's gonna show up, and I don't think we live. We tried to live, but we couldn't. And now, of course, the Viego's a Master Yi and can chase down the Riven, but that's fine. So in this particular situation, is that good? I think it's fine. Don't think it's perfect because you don't want to snowball a Viego either, but at this stage, we're getting closer to our spike. Remember, when you're something like a Yi with Treasure Hunter and you're looking for 2-3 item spikes to just run over a game, then remember that any death is okay because it's a step in the right direction, provided you're not just inting, right? You're not trying to die. As long as you can get 1 kill, 2 kills, 3 kills for every death or every 2 deaths, then that's okay in terms of early game. So 1 for 1 here is fine for us, because we know we can control the game. That's a big difference. Now, this, my friends, showed this to a Master Yi player. Yeah. You see, I can't show their reaction because it's basically, I'm on the wrong tube for that. The Hextech Dragon is highly valuable. 9% attack speed, 9 haste per stack. Yes, please. Nom 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 nom. Free gold stats. So we're not factoring that into our gold amount, obviously, but all right. He finishes that dragon up, and now again we're at 4,300 cash monies. RNG Scuttle. Let's not forget this yet. Always wait for this one. This is a bad boy. It's basically a Krug camp. Remember, what is it at the moment? Level 7. At level 9, it's a Krug camp. So it's basically equalized to the point that he took a whole Krug camp for a fifth of the time it would take him to do Krugs. Look for this, but don't overcommit again. So this game's showing us a lot more of a reserved Master Yi playstyle, the one you're probably more used to, but yet still significantly more active than any of you are probably playing, because what are we doing that other Master Yis don't? Quadrant control. Krugs, Raptors, look for a play, look for a dive, look for an invade, look for a play. And don't be afraid of those tower dives. You can see how important it is to look for those tower dives. And here now we have a lane gank, because why? We can run fast. You know, Ornn has his ult, Sion has his train, Rengar has his camouflage, but look at this, just good fog of war abuse from scenarios, repositioning, making sure that when they overcommit, which they will because it's Draven Pike, nice double bomb, we get the alpha channel to go through here. Obviously our ultimate can be used whenever we want. We've got the red smite, we can go for auto attacks, auto attacks, auto attacks. We can then use our animation cancel on the W as necessary, reposition with alpha again, and we do fall, but we get the kill in the Draven. So that's absolutely fine, we'll take that. We're 4-4-1, Kraken Slayer completed now. Now it's time to tone things up. Cash money infusion, 5,300 by 10 minutes. We're still way behind target. How can he now basically get almost 4,000 gold within 3 minutes? That seems almost obscene, but that's what his trick is, and that's why he's so successful and so damn good at E in this elo. He is not getting to 16 minutes with just Kraken Slayer. Dude's got Blade of the Rune King almost always. So here we go. Out of base. Could we farm? No camps, been stolen. Viego's here, stealing our camps. Alright, if the camps up, we take the camps. And then we cut the map, quadrant control. See the Canyon video for that. We talked very much about how Canyon uses that quadrant control to maximize experience on the map and keep his pressure up and just remove the enemy jungler. Obviously, we didn't get Herald this game, again, but that's fine. We got the dragon, we can clean that up, that's free gold as well. See, the Herald is gold, so get that plus 25. Every penny counts when you're saving. When you're saving, every penny counts. Now, we're gonna push this up here. We're gonna look for fight. We need to look for fight. We have Kraken Slayer, this is it. We channel, ult is up, hooked in, alpha strike, auto attack, dead. No, auto attacks with his E, obviously. Gotta prime that E. And just to show you what happened, the Viego went in the meantime to kill the Kai'Sa. Now we've got basically Kai'Sa, Viego, and Draven in the bot lane. LeBlanc will be shadowing the scenario, but we have numbers advantage. The Kraken Slayer spike is huge. Look to turn as soon as you can. You see how we're floating this? Here we go. We're sticking the Alpha Strike to the Viego. We have the Zillion ult on us. But do we need it? Do we care about it? Did we ask? No. Huge, okay? Absolutely huge. Now, that doesn't answer the question, because obviously we get shut down, and it takes us to 7,600, but we only have about 90 seconds left, and what did I tell you? Oh, tower plates. Let's watch. 160. 160. You see the passive coming through there, right? Attacking twice. Every fourth attack damages twice, so you get that on turrets as well. It's a hugely valuable tool for you to get these plates. Here we go again. A little bit of a heal up. All right. 8,500 gold, 13 minutes. And of course, when you see people coming back, channel it fully. Channel your heal fully to get as much HP as possible. You can red smite here. We've got our E active. We're going to use our ultimate to avoid any spells necessary. And of course, he just basically gets wiped like a nice samurai cut with a sword, right? Just absolutely slices him down. Basically, the Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul showdown in that season 3 of Rebels. Really beautiful moves, actually. Now, plus 330 for us as well. Full channel here to maximize our healing, which of course is increased based upon our missing HP. And then we can go and steal some Krugs if possible. Viego's going to show up here. We're going to channel again because the cooldown is super, super low. Oh, look, a ward. Thank you for even more gold. 9,400 gold before even 40 minutes. Hey, we're just going to flash in here. We do get a shutdown. We do give a shutdown to the LeBlanc, but we're 10-5-1 with 10,000 gold by 1346. And it didn't look like that. It wouldn't have looked like that in the gold graphs. Now we're leaving base. Not only do we have Kraken Slayer plus Blade of the Rune King, we also have part of our Rage Blade, which I always forget is called Rage Knife, obviously. That's so logical, yet here we are. Hopefully you can see these early game strategies and how he uses it to get the gold amount necessary to snowball with his 2-3 item spikes. Now what we're going to look at for the rest of this video is a few fights. You'll see that he still is able to try and force action. Enemy teams can still kill him. It makes it kind of difficult for him to do what he needs to do to win games. You know, we are able to try and take objectives. We can get chain CC'd. We can get bursted out. And, you know, you do have to be intelligent with your positioning. Most Master Yis would just run into people now and die a lot. But when it comes to late game team fights, a crucial focus here is using your points of entry with your alpha. All right, making sure you don't go in when a whole bunch of CC is up. Structure your exit point while using your alpha strike intelligently and away from CC. Use that E as often as you can when it's up. Obviously, a lot of haste helps, but the cooldown did hurt us, and the nerf to that is going to hurt as well, but it's still a lot of true damage, okay? The ultimate reset is something beautiful to be used, and essentially using that 90% damage reduction animation cancel as often as you can in those fights, and the cooldown isn't that high, so you can definitely get off multiple rotations of that as much as you want. And as you'll see from the itemization, and you'll see some full options here, we're going for Kraken Slayer, Blade of the Rune King, then Rage Blade almost every single game, literally every single game, and what you're looking to do then afterwards, Death's Dance, Wit's End, and GA. You will flex Two out of those three every single game. If you don't feel like you need the GA for survivability, then that's okay. You can just stick with the Wits End and the DD first, Wits End first, depending on the enemy comp and who has more magic or physical damage. But there you go. And that is how he got 1400 LP and top 10 on EU West this season. And of course, if you want to understand more about the pathing necessary to avoid all sorts of vision and make sure you're navigating the map beautifully, you can look at this video and it will definitely help you play more like this Master Yi.